Oh, cool. So, back to the Mojo.
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys know me, but I'm Moldover. I'm a controllerist, so I perform live with controllers and software. And I have a background as a musician, mostly playing guitar. So I'm really into like physical, tactile instruments, things you can kind of wank on, as we see guitar players do on stages all over the world. So I'm into...
I'm glad that we can bring that to our music form too.
Guitar wanking? Any guitar wankers in the audience? I know you're here.
I knew electronic music was missing something. Do you have a mustache?
So yeah, I found no limitations in software, and like everything I've ever wanted to do, I've always been able to figure out how to do somewhere in a computer. But I found physical interfaces kind of limited as far as how to control a computer, and so I wanted to create something that was really tactile. A difficulty I have with like touchscreens and monomes, these kind of like interactive interfaces, is they enable all kinds of new possibilities. You know, giving yourself like a screen that can change and go through different pages, or you know, lights that give you feedback and so forth. But I think that like using interfaces like that forces you to use this other part of your brain, like something more cognitive and your visual, something left-right happens with visual and auditory and all that kind of stuff. So I'm into this like visceral, just like slamming on things and bending knobs and wanking on faders instead of guitars. So anyways, so I started building these boxes. This is the first one that I've made that's like commercially available, I guess you'd say. I'm making 20 of these and selling them all in March as a way to just kind of like get this idea into other people's hands. So anyways, what's this idea? It's just three simple things. It's like making an ergonomic interface. So rather than like, something that's based around a grid or a cube, this is based around the shape of my hands.
So these buttons, they kind of look, if you didn't know that and you looked at them, you might wonder why the buttons are in this pattern, but they're actually arranged so that they're near your fingers. And you can play Street Fighter on them, it looks like. But without the combos.
Only 8-bit games. Doesn't do 16-bit. Whatever you want. It's just a generic MIDI controller, so you can program it to do whatever.
How do you map them?
I map them, so like these are like play buttons, triggering sounds, and they're a different kind of button because they're kind of protected. It's hard to accidentally hit a sound you don't want to. I use these for volume gates to do little, the thing turntablists do with their crossfader, crashing, whatever. So you can tap these buttons really fast. These buttons are badass. And I use faders for volume. Volume and fader makes a whole lot of sense. It's up, it's loud, it's down, it's quiet. And I use these little touch strips for things like filters and pitch shifters because you can articulate them in different ways. You can't articulate other controllers. You can tap on them and do like tremolo and fun stuff like that. And I'm really big on toggle switches. I use switches for toggle things, and I use buttons for momentary things. It's just kind of, to me, a more intuitive way to control sounds. And yeah, it's basically like play sounds, mix sounds, a whole bunch of crazy master effects on the mixed sounds. It costs $17.99.
And is it like you program it via USB or?
Yeah, it's USB bus powered. It's got a badass twist lock USB jack. You can hang the whole thing by the USB jack and it doesn't come out. And
yeah, why don't we have that? I don't think I've ever seen that before, and that makes perfect sense.
yeah. They're out there. Get a better USB jack. Yeah, so every time there was it's ergonomic, it's all about tactile, like things you move and touch and give you muscle memory, and you can play blindfolded basically. And it's just built really badass. It's wood and metal, and the USB jack is twist lock. And
How did you build it? Like, what's the chip inside?
the brain is two of these UMC32s. This guy in Burbank makes this board. It's really easy to use and pretty affordable. If you want to build your own MIDI controller, it's totally doable.
And it's a class compliant USB board, right? Yeah. Does
Yeah.
it, or HID or
No, it's just MIDI,
class? Yeah,
class compliant MIDI device. So plug it in Windows or Mac, it shows up just like magic.
Those touch strips light up?
No, it doesn't have lights. Lights are a lot more work to program, as anybody's worked with like a monome or a lemur. When you've got this whole bidirectional thing going, it's a whole other deal to program it. And I kind of want this to be really simple and straightforward, and like you get it and it works just as good as one of these, but maybe it's better. So yeah, that's the Mojo. You can come play with it after the panel if you want.
That's right, yeah, we're all going to be up, you'll be up in the VIP lounge, right? Yeah, I think you do. Moldover will be in the champagne room with the Mojo. Just saying. I think we said you need a NAMM badge to get in there, which doesn't really make any sense. That's not how the champagne room usually works. But, you know, talk to Matt and he can probably get you in.